It's 9 a.m., time for the only garden talk radio show in Milwaukee. Tell your friends, the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is on the air. Join us and let's grow together.
Coming up on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show today, it's all about the power of worms, how to get them in your garden, and some that you need to be aware that may be in your garden, the invasive species, as well as growing sweet corn, how to do it, and why we choose not to grow our own sweet corn. Stacy Murphy will be with us of GrowYourOwnVegetables.org, as well as your garden questions and our garden answers. Garden Talk Radio is on the air, and it starts right now.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird, some of the realest gardeners that you'll ever know, always willing to share their knowledge, mistakes, and working to grow together. Founders of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com that contains over 1,100 garden videos to show and teach others to grow some of what they eat. Join them for the next hour as they cover practical gardening information that has worked for them and more. Now here they are.
It is the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show on 860 AM WNOV and W293CX 106.5. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, whether on those particular stations, the TuneIn app, the Simple Radio app, or anywhere in between. I am your host, Joy Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, gardening partner.
Holly Baird.
The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com is the website that you can go to that now contains over 1,100, nearly 1,200 garden videos, short and long format. We are live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and there's a number of ways in which you can contact us. You can do that through email, twvgshow@gmail.com. You can send us a tweet at our Twitter handle is TWVG Show, or you could hashtag TWVG, and those are available 24/7, 365. Or you can call in the next hour on the Ivy Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline.
Ivy Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard naturally protects plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents, protects newly installed plants and trees, shields pruned and damaged surfaces for use on your roses, fruit and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, visit ivyorganics.com.
So you can certainly do that. Now, this weekend marks the unofficial start of summer, and whether you're watching your favorite sporting event, golf, basketball, auto racing, you're going to your barbecues on Monday, we want to recognize and reflect on what Monday, Memorial Day, is all about. It's set aside to remember the men and women and the young and old who have served this country unselfishly, paid the ultimate price, giving their lives to protect our freedom, to allow us to do things that we want to do and allow people to do things they want to do, whether we agree with them or not. And we give the ultimate thank you to those who left and never came back. We want to also mention that we want to ask you for a little help on your end. If you would like to, we've got a survey on our website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. It's at the top of the page. You don't have to search for it as soon as you load the page. It's a 2-minute anonymous survey. Now, Holly did it in about 49 seconds. Just click the button, multiple choice.
Not everybody's going to be able to do it in 49 seconds.
Right. But it's just 10 questions, very anonymous, just to give us some data so when we start reaching out for 2019, we can have a small sample core of our listening audience to help these potential sponsors and the renewal of sponsors in which we have currently to give them more information with these companies. The more information they can have about our listening base, the happier and more opportunity they have to come back and renew sponsorship and come up with new sponsorship. So with that being said, let's get into the show here. We're going to talk about the power of worms, Holly, and this is something that you have great joy in talking about worms. It's a very they're incredible small creatures.
Yeah, worms are pretty amazing. They are really great for your soil. They aerate your soil, which means that they bring air to your soil, and they move the nutrients around. They break down organic matter, and they're great little soil helpers. They're soil helpers in a way that is pretty simple. You don't have to do a lot of anything to make the worms happy. Basically, they will bring nutrients from 8 feet. What did I say? 8 deep. 8 feet deep down into your soil, and then they circulate those nutrients around for you.
Well, I think the biggest mistake people make is, I'm starting a garden, I'm just going to get worms from the bait shop, from the wherever, or the neighbors, and bring them in and get this thing going quicker.
Right, you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to invite the worms into your garden, and not by an evite. You want to invite them in by adding organic matter to your soil. So that can be things like coffee grounds, leaves, straw, anything like that you're putting in your garden or on top of your garden, mixing it in. They're going your own compost from your food scraps, whatnot. They're going to eat that. They're going to find that food, and they're going to come and they're going to make a home there. And worms are really smart. So, like, don't think, I'm going to have too many worms. They're not going to have enough food, blah, blah, blah. It's okay. They're not going to inhabit more than they can control.
Right. They know where their limitations are, and they will stop reproducing once their colony has reached a maximum capacity in the area in which they're at, that they can support their own cells. They're not going to overpopulate and then have issues there. Let's talk about how many worms should we, when everything's all perfect, in our garden, how many worms should we have in 1 square foot?
So ideally you want a minimum of 10 worms per 1 cubic square foot. So what you're going to do is you're going to have 1 cubic square foot of soil, which is 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. And you would just dig that out and count, see how many worms you can find. And if you got 10, that's good. We have just like
between 25 and 30 is what we have. Now, there's a couple of reasons why our soil is so rich and populated with the worms. One is we've been working the soil for about 7 years now. We bring in a ton of leaves. We bring in coffee grounds, chemical-free, seed-free grass clippings. We do not till the soil. Now, if you till, that's fine. That's okay. People sometimes will do this regularly. Now, the thing is that you will kill a certain number of worms when you till. The thing in which you can do to deter the casualties of worms is if you're going to till your area. Now, this is predominantly goes towards traditional ground garden. If you're in containers, obviously you're not tilling. If you're in a raised bed, you don't need to till because you brought in good organic material. So you're not needing really to disturb the soil at all, just basically a low to no-till planting method. Take the tiller where you're going to till, and then let it idle for 3 or 5 minutes before you till. The vibration will sense to the worms there's a danger, and most of them, the smart ones, will burrow deeper in the soil, and you'll kill less worms. Now, let's talk about how many worms. We talked about how many is in a square foot, Holly. How many, in an organic farm, what are we looking at here, the number of worms on your in an acre?
Okay, so it could be about 500,000 worms.
500,000.
Half a million, which is equal to 2,000 feet of 6-inch pipe. So that's kind of crazy. So 6-inch across pipe, diameter pipe. There could be, imagine 2,000 feet of that. How many feet are in a mile? Is it
5,280?
So it's like half a mile of pipe, basically.
And
these
hard
to envision.
Right.
That's a lot of worms.
And these are worms that the farmer or the organic place did not bring in. These naturally came. They worked themselves in because of the feed of it. But yeah, this is a lot of people. There's a tremendous amount of soil web underneath the soil, and when you do disturb the soil, and we try to go with our method as a low to no till method of disturbing the soil. Obviously, if we're going to weed, we're going to use a garden fork, not a shovel. It's going to kill less worms, going to destroy less soil web. You got to, if you're going to plant potatoes, you got to dig deep in there. When we purge the beds from weeds, we do use and disturb the soil 8-9 inches deep. This year we have found, by putting such a tremendous layer of mulch on the garden, that really the only areas in which weeds were coming up was on the perimeter of the beds next to the walk path, where the leaves didn't cover as thickly and didn't smother out the weeds in which we had. Now, when you take those leaves, which at the time of putting them on in the fall was 10, 12, sometimes 20 inches thick. Now they're about 4 or 5 inches thick because they broke down. Remove the leaves back, the worms start going down the they're on the surface.
They're right by the surface. I'm sure they eat those leaves. I can't imagine what else they're eating.
The leaves, yes.
Yeah, so that's good for them. They get, they get food, they get some air, they move around, and then what's amazing is that one worm can produce up to 1/3 a pound of their own manure or compost, whatever you want to call it.
It's called worm castings in the industry, yes.
a year. So one tiny little worm can produce up to a third pound of their own waste per year, and that's good for your soil because they're eating organic matter. They're putting organic matter back into the soil.
They're creating tunnels for the water to circulate through. Now, not all worms are good worms. We talked with Sharon Morris from the University Extension last year, where she was talking about that there's a invasive species of worm called the jumping worm, and it is in the Milwaukee area, and we're going to relate back to that in a moment about the what to look for. And again, this is a good indication of why you don't want to bring worms in, because these jumping worms will come in via soil from the potted plants that you bought at your garden center or whatever the case is. So Sharon Morris is going to tell us about that, and it's easier for her to say than for us to tell you.
There is a new invasive species called the jumping worm. What is it, and what do consumers need to be aware of before they purchase soil in the state of Wisconsin?
Yeah, jumping worms are becoming a real scourge. People are pretty alarmed when they find them in their yards. They're not earthworms. We'll start with that. And you never have just one. They are in large groups, and they squirm like crazy when they are disturbed. And so we're calling them crazy worms than jumping worms. They do move around very erratically when they're disturbed. And they're also always found just below the soil surface. They don't go down into tunnels and come back up like our regular earthworms do. They come into your yard with soil in containers of plants that you've purchased from other locations, from plants that you have shared from other gardeners, and also in some of the bulk nursery products like mulches and soils. And it's often very difficult to detect that they are in those products. So a lot of caution should be used when you're purchasing those kinds of things, and even when you're bringing in new plants into your yard. Really check the root system, check the soil that's in the pot and with the plant. Like I say, they're on the top of the soil surface. They eat all of the organic matter out of the soil, and the soil ends up looking like coffee grounds. So it's really distinctive when you've got them. They look a lot like our usual earthworms, but they do have a lighter band around their body than earthworms, and that band is flat with the rest of their body, whereas our earthworms, that band that goes around them is raised, kind of raised. The biggest problem is that there's nothing you can do about them at this time. Digging that soil out and removing it won't do it. You often move them from place to place in your own yard by working in that soil, and you contaminate your tools. You'll end up having some of the very small worms, the larvae, on your tools. And in the spring, it's especially difficult because they're so small, you can't really see them. And all that's there are the cocoons that overwinter. The adults die in the winter. So it's just something to really be aware of. Be very careful when you're bringing things into your property. And for the time being, if you do discover that you have jumping worm, be very careful not to transmit it to other areas of your yard or other people's yards. Clean your tools off really well, and even your shoes and your boots where you've been working. And wait. The research is ongoing, and hopefully we will find a way to control them.
Do you know if there's any known cases in the southeast Wisconsin area or the Milwaukee County area at this point?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Okay.
It's in many places. People who have absolutely no idea that they have them, and then they learn about them, and they start working in their soil, and lo and behold, there they are.
And once they get done with the organic matter in the soil, they start eating the roots of the plants, correct?
Well, they actually don't eat the roots of the plant, but they take so much out of the soil that the plants can't thrive.
Okay.
The roots can't thrive. So that's how they do damage to the roots. It's just by their feeding on the organic matter all around the roots. The soil is absolutely amazing when they get done with it. It really, truly looks like coffee grounds.
So with that being said, we want to be aware of, one, when we dig the soil up, to see if there's just single worm, like she said, we don't have to worry about it. If there's a colony of worms, and this occurs a little later, like in June-ish, there are people in Madison that are working on that problem. So just be vigilant. Don't bring worms in, but the power of worms are incredible. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about corn, how to grow sweet corn, and the reasons why Holly and I have chosen never to grow sweet corn again in our garden right after this.
Got a question? Email the show at twvgshow@gmail.com.
Mycorrhizae is a beneficial fungus from PlantSuccessOrganics.com that will greatly increase your plant's germination ability and healthier root structure. You can increase seed sprouting, root growth, and general plant germination. Mycorrhizae can be used with hydroponic root cutting, seed sprouting, cocoa coir, and soil. PlantSuccessOrganics.com carries powder, granule, and tablet form of mycorrhizae. Increase the level of mycorrhizae in your soil to give your plant the optimal opportunity to produce incredible harvests. For more information and to purchase, visit PlantSuccessOrganics.com.
Garden seeds do not have to cost a fortune, just 99 cents at migardener.com. Now with over 450 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, and organic flower, vegetable, and herb seeds available year-round. Pay less and get more seeds. Shipping as low as $2.50. That just makes sense. Go to migardener.com for seeds and garden needs, tools, and special blend fertilizers. migardener.com. It's that simple. Family owned and operated.
Here at Outpost Natural Foods, it's not just that we're community-owned that sets us apart. It's the fabulous foods we sell. We celebrate Earth Day every day by offering our customers the finest natural and organic food selections in Greater Milwaukee. Outpost local farmers and vendors provide our stores with a delicious selection of fresh seasonal produce that you won't want to miss. Outpost stores are located in Milwaukee, Wauwatosa, Bayview, and Mequon. We're a real Milwaukee original where anyone can shop and anyone can join. For the whole scoop about Outpost, we invite you to visit www.outpost.coop.
Rebel Green, responsibly made natural products that are good for you and the environment. Made in the USA, plant-based, vegan, and always toxic-free. Find out more at rebelgreen.com. Flame Engineering, home of the Weed Dragon, the perfect propane torch kit for home and garden use. For killing weeds, no need to pull or spray. 100 other uses. Find out more at flameengineering.com. World Record Tomato. This garden fun fact is sponsored by Minerty.com. Get your 3-pack today. Drop the tea bag in water, let steep, then feed your soil, not your plants. 100% organic. Find out more at Minerty.com. The heaviest tomato weighed in at 8.61 pounds and was grown by Dan Schoflin of Walla Walla, Washington. This occurred on August the 30th of 2016. This achievement was authorized by the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth. That is one big tomato. Root Assassin, a garden tool that does all the root functions with its advanced shovel that has serrated edges on both sides. Find out more information at rootassassinshovel.com.
Do you enjoy hanging baskets but struggle to keep them properly watered? The Plant Booster Self-Watering System is a mechanical system that will ensure optimal soil moisture at all times by reacting to the weight of each plant. The weight of each plant tells the system how much water it needs, unlike a timer-controlled system where all plants get water at the same time, whether they need it or not. Also ideal for condos or apartments with no outdoor water source. Check out details, videos, and extensive explanation and ideas for application at plantbooster.net. Are you short on time when it comes to grocery shopping? Yes, I'm talking to you. ShopWoodmans.com offers online shopping for store pickup or delivery on their over 60,000 plus items at Woodman's everyday low prices. Order online, select a pickup or delivery time, and create more time to do what you want. Leave the work to Woodman's. Also, check out the ShopWoodmans.com app. You can even make special requests like specific sizes of produce. For more information, visit ShopWoodmans.com.
Blue Mel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Blue Mel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Blue Mel's today.
Blue Mel's, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Flame Engineering, Eco Garden Systems, Bobex, Plant Success, Beans and Barley, M.I. Gardener, Outpost Natural Food Co-op, Root Assassin, Manure Tea, The Gardener's Hollow Leg. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Garden Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Hallie Baird.
A lot of people enjoy sweet corn during the summertime, and some people struggle to grow sweet corn. We struggled to grow sweet corn for a number of years until we figured out how to do it in our garden. So we're going to go over how you can grow sweet corn in your garden, and we'll talk about why we have done it successfully, but choose never to do it again.
So one thing about sweet corn is you need full sun. And that's important. You want at least 8 to 12 hours of sunlight during the peak of summer. So the sunniest spot in your yard is what you want. So you want that full beaming sun on that corn.
We also need a lot of nutrients with this corn. This corn is a heavy feeder, and especially in your backyard, in big ag industry, they pump a lot of nutrients, a lot of fertilizer into the soil in order to feed the plant. Now, true enough, in organic gardening, if you have good fertility in your soil, your requirements for the nutrients like fertilizers, organic or inorganic, will be minimal. But if you have poor soil, like we did several years ago when we were starting this journey of trying to get sweet corn to grow in our garden, we had to add a lot of fertilizer.
We did. We came up with our own blend, essentially, and it was super high nitrogen. Corn loves nitrogen. So that's one thing, is that if your soil, you feel it's lacking or maybe could use more nitrogen, don't think it won't, because that corn will definitely use that nitrogen.
A typical, like a sustained fertilizer that we use in our videos is a 4-6-4 or an 8-2 4, which is,
I think we made like a 20.
Well, no, it was a 32,
it was a 32
26, 20.
Yeah.
Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, incredibly high. Now, the reason now we're paying the price for it, because in that bed in which that corn was grown 3 years ago, we're having to grow leafy greens in order to remove the rest of that excessive nitrogen out of that bed, because if we would grow tomatoes or peppers or eggplant,
we would have really nice tomato plants, but no tomatoes. So keep that in mind, which is going to link into not growing it in the same spot for 2 years in a row. And so if you're gonna commit to growing corn, that's not a problem. But you have to keep in mind that, okay, so if you make your soil nitrogen rich, you don't want to grow it in that same spot the next year. So you're gonna have to make that other plot or area nitrogen rich too, and it takes some crop rotation. So
if you do grow it in the same area 2 years in a row, the excessive nitrogen in the soil from the previous year can create a disease, or it's not really. It's called corn smut.
It's not a disease. It's just like a reaction to growing that corn the second year in a row.
It looks like the ear is got like a mushroom or a rot to it. Now, this is a delicacy in Hispanic cuisines. We did not choose to eat the corn smut, but this does occur in big ag industry as well, not only just the backyard. And then that's if you grow it in the same spot 2 years in a row. So again, crop rotation.
Let's
talk about growing it. You just can't go one single row like you would tomatoes.
Yeah, you want to grow in blocks. So if you're going to grow in a plot of corn, you do like blocks of 4, 8, 16, whatever, because of how it pollinates. So corn pollinates through the air from the top, which is the tassel onto the ears. And
each hair represents a kernel that will be formed if the pollination is correct in that ear.
So keeping that in mind, you can hand pollinate it. You can take the tassel, kind of run your hand through the tassel, shake it, and then run your hand through the ears. You can hand pollinate that way. But since corn is air pollinated, if you live within a mile from a farm, a mile to 3 miles, anywhere, depending on how the wind blows, how strong the wind is, your corn could cross-pollinate with other corn.
Now, this is not a problem if you're just going to eat the kernels for this year. It's not going to affect. It's going to carry the traits on if you're going to save it for the next year.
Right, so if you're going to save the seed.
You could have a different variety. You can have a genetically modified cross in it. But if you're just saving it for this year, going to eat it, not worry about it, you don't have to be too concerned about that pollination drift from adjacent plot.
Right, so you just want to keep that in mind. Pay attention for pests. There's like a little corn weevil, I think is what
worm.
It is. A corn worm. So pay attention for that. Make sure you're not letting it take over. So Joey mentioned before the break why we will never grow corn, and I don't want to say never, because you never know. We might decide one day that we want to grow corn. But one is because...
We talked about the blocks. We have to... Yeah, that's important now. People say, that's the reason why corn's not pollinating correctly. Okay, now I just want to re-emphasize that. Now, why will we most likely never grow corn again?
Well, okay, so there's a couple of reasons. One is that obviously it takes a little bit of a commitment. You have to build your soil with the nitrogen. You have to be mindful about how you're rotating your crops at that point then. And you have to really be vigilant when you're growing corn in your backyard. However, we've discovered that typically as we would be harvesting the corn, stores like Outpost would have organic corn on sale for like a quarter an ear. And for us, that's okay. We don't mind paying that. You can sometimes find good deals at farmers markets, farm stands, and whatnot. So to us, we're just like...
Can't grow it that cheap.
Can't grow it that cheap. And it's worth it to us, and we don't mind supporting local farmers, so we're okay with it.
Now, if we were in middle of nowhere and town was 30 minutes away and we had a half acre that we could dedicate to strictly sweet corn, we certainly would do that. But with the little small, for all the investment we put in for 1 ear of corn on one stalk of corn, we can put a tomato in that spot and get 15 or 20 pounds of tomatoes over a growing season. So that's the reason why we choose not to. Now, if you're wanting to grow a small 4x4 plot of corn in your backyard, absolutely, it will work for you. Again, you got to build the nutrients up in your soil with nitrogen and compost and organic material. But that's the reason why we have decided not to grow sweet corn in our garden, at least for the foreseeable future. Well, coming up after the break, our good friend Stacy Murphy will be with us and going to tell us all about her new project that she's got going on up there in Brooklyn right after this.
If you have a gardening question, now is the time to call in on the ivorganics.com 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline at 414-444-5250.
Do you have a problem with deer or small herbivores eating your vegetation? There is a natural solution that is safe for your pets and family. Bobex is the answer. An environmentally friendly solution to protect your plants, will not wash off, and is guaranteed. Bobex Deer was independently tested against 9 known competitors and rated 93% effective, second only to a physical barrier. Bobex can be used on all types of ornamentals, trees, and shrubs. Ask for it by name at your local independent garden center. Find out more, visit bobex.com. BOBBEX.com.
Haas Tools wants to help you grow your own food. From seed starting supplies, hand tools, drip irrigation, harvesting equipment, and a complete line of all-natural pest control solutions, they've got you covered. Keep your garden weed-free with their time-tested, American-made wheel hose that are built to last a lifetime. And their precision garden seeders have proven design for planting a wide variety of seeds. Haas Tools has what you need to get the most out of your growing space, large or small. Free shipping and outstanding customer service. Shop online or request a free catalog at HaasTools.com.
I know you're looking for an alternative to harsh chemicals, but you want professional strength products. BioSafe's garden line gives you just that. Professionally used for 20 years, available to homeowners. Organic solutions that are effective. They offer an array of eco-friendly products, from plant food, fertilizer, to one-of-a-kind herbicides, organic weed killer. BioSafe's products can be used around children, pets, wildlife, so you can enjoy your yard more. Grow stronger, healthier with BioSafe. Find us on Facebook at BioSafe Home and Garden, and visit us at biosafe.net to learn more. Get 10% off your next purchase at biosafe.net by using coupon code TWVG at checkout. Tall Earth Wood Treatment All-in-One Preservative and Stain offers lifetime protection and creates a unique silver-aged wood finish. All ingredients are non-toxic, eco-friendly, perfect for garden beds and veg truck. Find out more at tallearth.com. Free shipping on all orders. Use coupon code WISCONVEG to save 15% off orders placed at tallearth.com. Shield and Seal Vacuum Sealers and the highest quality vacuum sealing products. Unique black and clear and all black bags, protecting your produce and product better than traditional bags. Find out more at shieldandseal.com. Zaz Products, offering great quality supplements that can help personal health and increase longevity. Committed to bringing you the highest quality products at the lowest price. Find out more at zazproducts.com. The number one key to healthy, productive plants are the roots. Starting from seed to full-grown plants, Rootmaker.com has the answer. From seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots, creating a fabulous root system, never again will you have root-bound plants, to multiple gallon grow bag sizes to raised beds. Rootmaker.com has your grow needs covered. Visit rootmaker.com.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar, honey, or any alternative sweetener you'd like. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Available at most natural food stores and online.
Wouldn't you love to get more from your growing space? By utilizing the square foot garden method and properly spacing your plants, Seeding Square will optimize and organize your veggie garden to grow more greens and less weeds. The square foot color-coded seed spacer is a great tool for any garden, ground container, or raised bed, and all experience levels, even little green thumbs. For more information, visit SeedingSquare.com. Seeding Square is gardening made simple.
Blue Mel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Blue Mel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Blue Mel's today.
Blue Mel's, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, your home for Garden Talk Radio, with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
The IV Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard Hotline and bring in our next guest.
Stacy Murphy helps beginner growers cultivate successful vegetable and herb gardens right at home, no matter how little space or time they have. Stacy, welcome to the program. What inspires you to grow food for your community?
Thanks so much for hosting me here.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. I think, like a lot of people out there, two things really came up for me when I wanted to reconnect with nature. You know, I had a 9-to-5 job sitting at a desk, and the only thing that made me feel alive was fresh food and farmers market. And also what was going on for me was I felt really disconnected from my neighborhood. And I was spending all my time at work, and I didn't know any of my neighbors. And so I realized that at the farmers market, I remembered my childhood of growing up around food and how far I had come from that. And so I really just wanted my hands in the earth again. And it was a way to connect with my community because there wasn't a lot of fresh food in my neighborhood.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a food desert. And then you created this new website, growyourownvegetables.org, kind of in combination with all of this, bringing the food back to the community.
Yeah, and so the idea is to get as many people growing food as possible because really there is this homegrown revolution that's happening around the world where people are realizing the importance of fresh food. And, so thank you to all the people who are out there who are feeding their communities. And it's not that hard, and it doesn't take that much space. And so the idea was to, once I started doing it and I started finding success and making it easy, I was like, we got to get everybody doing it. Right? So that's when we started posting online classes and people have been tuning in all around the world for this homegrown revolution.
Well, and you bring up your online classes. How big is the homegrown revolution? You kind of touched on a little bit with that.
Yeah. Obviously the homegrown revolution is much bigger than I am or even my network is because of there's so many people around the world doing it. My online classes, we've got tens of thousands of people who tune in online for events and classes. And I've got students all around the world, from really cold countries like Finland and Canada to Australia and New Zealand to hot places like South Africa, Belize, even Pakistan and India and Turkey. So it's really amazing to me how growing food is something that is so central to being human. It's like we want to be connected to the earth through the things that we're eating and know that it's healthy and nutritious and delicious. And so, yeah, it's a movement that I have to say that I'm a part of, and I'm so blessed that there's so many people around the world doing it.
Definitely. Now, can anybody utilize your blueprint for growing vegetables and herbs and make it work where they are?
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm really excited about is that when I was growing food in Brooklyn, which is where I got started, I had a very small space and I had very little time to dedicate to growing food. And so I came up with a system that was simple and easy, and I was only there like 2 hours a week, and I was growing food for 6 different families. And so what I did is I took all the ideas that I was using there and created this blueprint that basically people can apply wherever they are, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time or energy. And basically what I help people do is adapt it to their local climate.
Well, and people ask us this question all the time, and I'll let you address it. Is there a minimum, and obviously we know that it can be as big as you want it to be, is there a minimum size in which you can grow vegetables, fruits, that type of thing?
Well, you've probably talked a lot about this already, but, I say every plant should be grown. You could just have a little tiny pot on your windowsill growing some herbs, and go for it. So that's the beauty of growing vegetables and herbs, is that it really doesn't take all that much space. If you want to grow, let's say, enough food for your family, all your vegetables, if you have a space of, like the size of a small SUV, if you imagine that for a minute, that size, that's about the size that could feed a family of 4 a lot of their vegetables. It might not be all of their beans and legumes, but it'll be most of their vegetables, so it doesn't take a whole lot of space to feed a family.
That's definitely really great information. Now, what can people do if they don't have space to grow their own and they are excited to grow food?
Yeah, so this is what's really exciting, is that there's so many people who are interested in fresh food, and not everybody wants to necessarily grow it. I know that's probably crazy to us because we love growing food so much, and we think that once people get started that they're going to love it too. But it's not for everybody, and it's good to know yourself. And in Brooklyn, what I found is that there was people who loved fresh food, but they didn't necessarily want to grow it themselves, and they were excited about sharing their backyard. And so this is really what gets me excited, is the idea that growing food is really about growing community and not only improving our own health, but the sustainability of our cities. And we start to connect with our neighbors. So maybe if you don't have space, your neighbor has some space, and it's pretty easy to go and let them know, hey, I could grow some food and we could share it, and you don't have to do anything other than give me your yard. And it's a pretty good deal for both people. So there's lots of other ideas too. Of course, there's lots of growing indoors these days. And in Brooklyn, I had a small studio apartment, and I had this shelving right above my desk, and I grew all my salad greens for the winter in two little trays. So even if you don't have space, you could grow beans inside and on some windowsills. And then if you want a bigger space, it's a way to connect to neighbors and really get to know them and learn about health and well-being together.
Well, when I hear the word Brooklyn, I know there's a lot of backyards, but do you do or have you done rooftop gardening in that aspect?
I personally have not. There's a lot of rooftop gardens happening in Brooklyn as well. When I was looking for space to grow, I love soil. I just love digging into the earth. And so you'd be shocked that even in Brooklyn, there are so many places to connect to the soil. So we had over an acre of soil-based farms in Brooklyn. So even in the densest city in the world, we could still get access to the soil, which was really brilliant. But if you don't have access to the land, you could definitely use rooftops as well. It's a great place because it's nice, a warm environment for those plants.
Well, I want to talk about the CSA. Now, people hear that term, but they don't know what that represents. Can you go over the details of what that represents? And it's not always the same based on your location either.
Right. Yeah, so community-supported agriculture is what CSA means. And, it's a term that farmers started as a way to help the community invest in their business and take on, and originally the idea was that farmers, as they're growing food for their communities, they're taking on a lot of risk up front. They're paying for everything, and anything could happen. Nature, a tornado comes through, a hurricane comes through. So by investing by members of the community saying, I want to sign up to like a subscription to food and get food weekly from you, I'm willing to give you some money and invest in my future and in your future, and we're in this together. And over time, that term has shifted a little bit, and usually now, it used to be that if the farmer had a problem with the crop, that the people who had purchased the CSA took that risk with them, and they might not get food. But these days, it doesn't necessarily mean that. So the idea is really to share the wealth of the farm and basically subscribe to a membership to receive food weekly.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can people find out more about the Grow Your Own Vegetable movement and the information about you?
Awesome. Yeah, so there's a couple ways. So growyourownvegetables.org is our website, and there's an ebook there to sign up for that's called Double Your Harvest in Half the Space. So if you're getting started and you want to know if your space is going to grow a lot of food or not, that's a really great resource. So that's at growyourownvegetables.org. And then I've got a YouTube channel as well, and if you search for basil, what's the name of that video? It's called How to Maximize Your Basil Harvest, 3 Mistakes to Avoid. That's one of my biggest YouTube videos that people really love, and so you can search for that, and that's another way to connect with me as well.
Right, and your YouTube channel is just full of information. You're very articulate, you're very descriptive, and you show what you're doing to maximize the space in which you have, whether you or individuals have, to at least produce something. And people are amazed at what little space is required to grow sometimes an abundance of produce.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Well, Stacy, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just highly recommend that people just grow a couple things and get that connection. It really doesn't take that much space or time.
And it's a very therapeutical activity to do.
Yeah, completely.
Well, Stacy, we greatly appreciate you taking time out of your obviously very busy day to join Holly, myself, and all of our listeners on the program to share some of your garden wisdom with all of us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing. It's so important to get the word out and get everybody out there growing food.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. And after this, we'll be back with your garden questions and our garden answers.
Use Twitter to reach Joey and Holly at TWVG Show or hashtag TWVG.
It's that time to get your lawn lush and green with the Chapin spreader, the broadcast spreader that outperforms all in their class. Get consistent results year after year as if you had hired your own professional lawn service. Find Chapin spreaders online or order through your local Home Depot, Lowe's, True Value, or Do It Best hardware stores. To see the full line of Chapin lawn and garden products, go to www.chapinmfg.com. This season, arm yourself with the better spreader, Chapin. The Tree Diaper is an advanced plant hydration system. It is an innovative device that captures and holds the water around your plants once full and hydrates them slowly when the plants need it over a period of 30 days. From half to 30-gallon capacity based on your needs. And easy to install even for a first-time gardener. The Tree Diaper reduces weeds, protects plants, enhances root growth, and prevents overwatering. Whether you're growing trees, vegetables, flowers, houseplants, in containers, or the ground, your plants will benefit greatly by allowing the Tree Diaper to do the work for you. Find out more at treediaper.com. Made in the USA.
An Oya is an unglazed porous clay pot with a short neck and a wider belly. Bury your Oya neck deep in your raised bed, container, or ground garden and let the Oya do your watering by releasing water as needed. How? By soil moisture retention for all you techies out there. This is an eco-friendly, efficient, ancient way to water your plants using up to 70% less water than other irrigation methods. It saves you time and is easy to install. Find a retailer through DrippingSpringsOyas.com. Smart watering, easy gardening.
Purple Cow Organics quickly and naturally increases the uptake of nutrients and water to your plants with their new bioactive vegetable supercharger designed to meet the unique needs by helping the living organisms in the soil help plants uptake the nutrients more quickly through their roots and leaves. Find out more at purplecoworganics.com. The Gardener's Hollow Leg, the debris and harvesting bag you wear, comes with its own belt attachment, perfect for doing light pruning, weeding, harvesting on the ground or on a ladder, and many other uses. Find out more at thegardenershollowleg.com. Save 10% by using the word veggies at checkout.
The Handy Safety Knife is a patented, high-quality knife that's worn like a ring, so it's always conveniently at hand and very easy and efficient to work with. That's why you'll find the Handy Safety Knife at work in a wide range of industries and applications. Learn more at handysafetyknife.com. Place an order for your business. Call toll-free 866-294-3424.
Use coupon code WVG to get 10% off and free shipping one-time use only at handysafetyknife.com. Eco Garden Systems is a revolutionary way to grow food. A fully contained raised platform with a conventional watering system. Solar power unit optional. Made from recycled material in the U.S., Eco Garden Systems raised garden bed offers sustainable organic gardening that is environmentally sound, quick and easy to set up, maintain, and fun to use. Fill your garden with soil and plant your seeds. Your Eco Garden will take care of the rest. Can set up in backyard, patio, and even your driveway. Any level surface. For more information, visit EcoGardenSystems.com. Use coupon code WIVEG125 to save $125 and get free shipping, a $250 value on the purchase of an Eco Garden Original Garden Unit, available only in stone color. Purchases must be made to the website EcoGardenSystems.com/store. Offer valid through December 31st, 2018. Available to the contiguous United States.
Beans and Barley Market and Cafe, a neighborhood specialty grocery store for the east side and greater Milwaukee area, where you can find all you need, from fresh produce to bakery to organic frozen dinners, from wine to fresh squeezed carrot juice. A health food store with hundreds of products, vitamins, supplements, bath and body items, magazines, cards, books, and a knowledgeable staff. Catering available, open daily at 8 a.m. The restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week with a menu of good, healthy, homemade food, including vegetarian and non-vegetarian specialties. 1901 East North Avenue, Milwaukee, 414-278-7878, and online at beansandbarley.com.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is brought to you by the following: Handy Safety Knife, BioSafe, Tall Earth, Chapin International, The Plant Booster, Ivy Organics, Woodman's Market, Blue Mel's Landscaping Garden Center, Purple Cow Organics. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Traditional gardening, raised bed or container gardening. Joey and Holly are here to get the most out of it. It's the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
Well, Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center is rocking right now. My friends, if you're going to be a gardener, which I'm sure you probably are in some level if you're listening to this program, you want to go to people who know about gardening. You just don't want to go to a store that only does gardening, has a garden center for 2 months a year. Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center, these people do this year-round.
Yeah, they are very knowledgeable. They have a wonderful staff, very friendly, and they'll help you with your garden need. They have landscaping services, I believe lawn mowing,
yep.
all that stuff.
40 varieties of bulk material.
Yeah,
I was there last Saturday picking up some Purple Cow raised bed mix.
The owner works in the building. So you can go to 4930 West Loomis Road in Greenfield. That's just south of Layton. You can call 414-282-4220 or go to bluemills.com.
They have everything you need and a knowledgeable staff. Well, if you have a question, we've got a few minutes for the top of the hour in which you can call the IV Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline. And Holly, how do they do that?
Yeah, you can call 414-444-5250. IV Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard naturally protects plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents, protects newly installed plants and trees, shields prune and damaged surfaces for use on your roses, fruit, and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, you can visit ivorganics.com. And again, that's 414-444-5250.
Number of questions coming on the program via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email, and alike. Lee from Milwaukee, Oregon asked us, can you take he's got corn growing, it's knee high, and it's starting to tassel. Can you just take the tassels off and let it do its thing, or will that kill the plant to prohibit the ears from growing? And at this point, your corn is already stressed. That's why it has gone to tassel. The only answer there is to pull it up and replant. Keep it watered, keep the nutrients to it. That's the only way you're going to fix the problem. That's a terrible answer to have, but that is the only answer that is correct on that situation. We had it happen to us where it didn't get watered correctly. It was variations in height, and it tasseled, and we had to just pull it up and start over. We were able to get another crop that year, but that was the problem.
Right. So that's one. They want to know also where you can get that handy safety knife. Mm-hmm. And the handy safety knife is a knife that's basically on like a ring. It's really handy and safe for all sorts of uses in the garden. You can go to handysafetyknife.com, and then you can use code WVG for 10% off.
How do I get rid of what I believe is Creeping Charlie?
Well, Creeping Charlie is unfortunately unfortunate plant to have in your garden. It's a weed, and it makes this like web of roots underneath your soil.
It's related to the mint family.
It is. You can actually make like Creeping Charlie tea. Mm-hmm. It's related to the mint family, but most of us have more than enough to make tea. So what you can do is you can smother it out. You can pull out as much as you can and put weed fabric over it, or you could
black plastic.
Black plastic.
You're going to radiate the roots and kill everything in that soil, but you're going to kill the plants. It's easy to bring back the microbial life. That's not a problem. After it may take 3 or 4 months to purge or to kill everything in that area.
Right. So that's a good way of getting rid of weeds is that black plastic. It bakes them, and it's thick. Yeah, you want thick black plastic, and that's between the sun and everything. It bakes those weeds. But that's one answer for Creeping Charlie, along with trying to pull it out as much as you can. Otherwise, BioSafe is a great product. They have what is that spray?
It's a non-selective herbicide designed for organic gardens. And it will kill anything that it comes in contact. It's not got the glyphosate.
The glyphosate.
Yeah.
So
it's a safer version of a weed killer.
Right.
And what we have done.
And you've been using it on thistles.
I've been using it on everything. The beds in which I have it planted, I will put it in a pump sprayer, and I will just spray all the vegetation, and it kills the plants, and it doesn't affect the soil. It doesn't kill the soil microbial life. It's very, very effective, and it works incredibly well.
Right. So that's one thing. And so if you go to biosafe.net, you can use the code TWVG at checkout to save 10%.
And they have more than just the weed killer.
Yeah, they have like house cleaning stuff, and like it's like not harmful.
Right. I wanted to. What does the F1 and F2 mean on the containers or the packages of sweet corn that I would like to purchase? What does that mean? Can you help me out?
Sure. So F1, F2 means first generation or second generation. It's just a generational hybrid. So it means that F1 means that was the first generation of the hybrid of the corn, and then the second would be the F2. So basically, if you want to grow corn to save the seed, you want to grow an organic heirloom corn. If you just want to enjoy the corn, a lot of times those hybrids are a lot easier to grow.
Right, just like a hybrid tomato or pepper, they have taken the...
They have favorable traits. So
right.
Like something like they might be crossing...
Not genetically modified.
Not genetically modified, but crossing with like either botanists or horticulturists would cross the two favorable genetics, like drought tolerant, heat tolerant, something like that.
Right, and that's the thing with any of those. And people ask, what do we recommend? Well, we are traditionists. We like to grow the organic and the heirloom because we like the old favorites, the brandy wines, the beefsteaks, that type of thing, the black crims. There's nothing wrong with growing hybrids at all. Absolutely not. You just don't want to save the seeds for you don't want to save the seeds for whenever we ever to grow next year, because the favoritism is not going to be there.
Okay. Question is, can I use black walnut leaves as mulch? And black walnut trees produce a chemical through its roots called jugalong that prohibits a lot of vegetation from growing. It's kind of a self-defense mechanism in the soil. Even when the tree is cut down, those toxins can stay in the soil for 10 to 15 years. Now, by increasing the pH level in that soil and by regularly tilling that area up and exposing that soil to the atmosphere, you can decrease the amount of jugalong in that soil. And you can, after several years, try planting, a trial garden there, a couple of plants, and seeing if those will even germinate. Certain experts say never put any black walnut leaves in a compost pile. Certain individuals will use them because the leaves actually contain that jugalong, that toxicity. Will use those as a mulch over areas in which they do not want vegetation to grow. They call it killer mulch to get rid of unwanted plants. Now, you can take, if you have a small amount of black walnut leaves, you can take and chip them up and add them to the compost pile. The experts at Ohio State say that a well-shredded walnut leaves can put into your compost pile, and the compost pile heated up properly. After a month of a hot compost pile, the harmful capabilities of those leaves are all but gone, so you don't have to worry too much about it. But if you're just doing that specifically, you want to take some of that compost that you've created and actually plant some beans and some tomatoes in there and see if they will actually germinate to make sure that toxicity is all the way gone. Our next question, we get several questions through our garden talks in regarding to getting or keeping wild turkeys out of their garden and yard. Well, one, you want to make sure your garden is less friendly. That means keeping your lawn cut short. Making sure the grasses don't go to seed for them to feed off of. Making sure that any brush or hedges are trimmed back accordingly so they don't have a place to kind of feel secure in your yard and they don't have a place to roost. Remove temptations. If you have a small garden, cover it with a wire, like a chicken wire, poultry fencing, something of that area to reduce them from flying in, if you're able to do that, or just kind of put a barrier up, a fence of some sort. Harassing the birds obviously will work. If you're able to be home, you can scare them away. There's a lot of defense mechanisms out there. Motion censored sprinklers. You can hang sparkly tinsel up, CDs, aluminum pan, something of that. So when the wind blows, turkeys are very spooked easily, at least in the wild. So we want to try to mimic something that will scare them in our own backyard in order to deter those birds from coming in our yard and making them go somewhere else. We want to make the animals feel very uncomfortable. We'll make it a very nervous situation. So by doing a lot of different things, whether with deer or rabbits or turkeys, we want to get them to get out of our yard and go elsewhere. We are out of time, and we certainly always appreciate you joining us each Saturday morning and telling your friends about us. Join us next week, Programming Note, when we will discuss 5 container herbs that you should have on your porch, as well as a $2.5 million garden. Jill Machihi will be with us. She is a podcaster and a blogger about beginner gardeners and how her journey from 2013 to present, when she knew nothing about gardening, how she is documenting that and helping new gardeners not make the mistakes that she made. Miss any portion of this program or want to revisit it in its entirety, you can find that under the radio tab at the website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. Want a specific interview or individual topic? You can find that underneath the highlight tab on the right-hand side. Until next week, for Holly Baird, I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.
You've been listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Tell a friend and join Joey and Holly again next week so we can all grow together. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is a production of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com in association with WI Garden Media broadcast live from the WNOV 860 AM and the W293CX 106.5 FM Courier Communication Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.